All right, so I wanted to do a little video for you guys to have like an exercise to play around with until she's further along with her e-collar training. She has her e-collar right now. I just want her to get used to it being worn and not always being utilized. I don't want her to be so collar-wise to it. So I don't really have an issue with her recall, and that is mostly because of my reinforcement history with her, right? Like, she knows that I have snacks on me most of the time. I purposely, the last 2 sessions I worked with her, have not had my treat pouch on. I do have food in my pockets, but what I want to do is I want to switch from visually showing her that I have food and bribing her, because then we're really depending on her seeing that we have food, which she's food motivated, so that works, right? But if we don't have food, then she's kind of like, blah, that I don't want to come over to you. This thing that I'm doing over here is more reinforcing. So I want to kind of switch the relationship over to, I call you to me, and when you come to me, you might get something out of it, but you don't know that I have it until it's being delivered with that marker. So yes, this is done, and we want to make sure we're prepared. I would practice this randomly, like we're not setting it up so much scenario based, or like it's not a training session. It's just she's off doing something. You go and you have a treat. You put it in your pocket. You call her to you, and when she comes to you, then you say yes and you pay her, and she just learns. Wow, like even when you just randomly call me to you, sometimes I get something out of it. I want there to be that her curiosity to come check and see if there is something. But then you building that reinforcement history with her, her randomly getting food is going to increase the likelihood of her wanting to leave something that she's finding reinforcing to come to you, because there's a possibility that she might get something out of it. But there has to actually be that possibility for her to want to leave alternative reinforcers, right? So the nice thing is that she is food motivated, so we have that in our favor. If she wasn't as food motivated, then you kind of have to amp up what you have to offer, but we don't really have to do anything. You give her literally a leaf and she's like, yes, let's do this, I want to do that. So again, practice more often than you actually need her when she's off doing something that she's not supposed to, and then you're a little bit more panicky, and then she starts playing that keep away kind of stuff. So obviously in the training room, she kind of gets the idea of what we're going to be doing, that we're training, so it's not as easy to catch her off guard, but that's all right. So when she goes off and she does something, finds interest in something else, being quiet so she loses interest in me. Gracie, come. Yes. Whoa. Only like 1 or 2 reps of that, right? Because once she knows you have food, she knows you have food. We lose the organicness of it, where she's like, okay, we're working, we're doing things. So just randomly, if she is like super keen to, like, if you have a treat jar, or like she knows the bag or whatever, then just have some in your pocket, and then you're set up for success no matter what. If she's doing something that you don't like and you tell her out and she does listen, then you have the ability to capture that moment and pay it. With the e-collar, I'm doing her out. Yes. With the e-collar, I'm trying to be careful that she already knows out with me. I don't really have an issue with her listening to that. Unless there is something that, like yesterday I had food, like I threw food all over the place. When she's committed, her drive to have that thing supersedes anything else. So like with the e-collar, I don't want to go too high too soon and then create an aversion to the thing. So which is kind of what I was getting into, where she was going after food and I was having to go a little bit higher on the e-collar, and then she just avoided that area in general. She wouldn't even go back to it because she was like, this equals an uncomfortable situation, which for certain things that might be okay, like we really need you to never touch that again, but I don't want her to have an aversion to food on the ground necessarily. So I'm trying to be really careful with that and using a lot of leash work too, so I can have that as a backup so that I'm not going too far with the e-collar stem levels. Excuse me, I'm recovering from the flu. As far as the jumping stuff, and this goes for Belle too, when they come into your space, we're gonna use spatial pressure. If that's all you use, you don't even say anything, I think you're gonna see a big difference with that. So when you come into the room and they start thundering towards you, as they approach you, I want you to assertively step into their space. And you'll see them go from running to kind of changing their out. Good girl, thank you, yes. We don't leave plastic. What is this? Did you even find? You'll see them kind of like hinder their forward momentum and lean back a little bit. Gracie, if I do it this way, it might not be the same effect. I want it to be like that. You see how she moves back out of my space? Everyone does this because they're avoiding claws, and that's inviting them into your space. So if all you do is when you open that door and they're coming thundering towards you is take a step forward, I think you're gonna see a really big difference. So definitely practice that with her. Front on, standing up square, just step in. No sideways or any of this or turning backwards. All of those things invite them into your space, which is what she was doing earlier. I went out in the yard and I turned my back to close the gate, and immediately she was clawing at me because there was no spatial pressure. She was invited, as far as she perceives it, out. Thank you, good girl. She was thinking that this is okay to do because I'm presenting myself passively. Hi. Good girl. And then when they're down there, lots of love and attention. Oh no, crazy. Stand up and she starts getting a little bit spicy again. Good girl. Good. Very nice. Okay. You can still give her all of those attention every time she starts getting really pushy. Just stand up straight, move into her a little bit. Hi. Good girl. Crouch down, inviting her into our space. Lots of love and attention. She starts getting too rough. Stand up straight. Good girl. Good job. Very nice. All right, same thing for Belle. I think she'd probably be a little bit more sensitive to it too, since she's not as confident as her, which is a good thing for that exercise.